Steve Gamache here. Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. Let's take a look this time at the Fujiwara FKM Santoku 180mm knife. This line of knives has a steel. It's really not even a core steel because they are monosteel construction, but the steel is AUS 8 stainless steel. Could even be 8A, but basically it's AUS 8 fully stainless steel. The heat treats a somewhat conservative 58 to 59 Rockwell in that core steel, which makes these a great entry-level Japanese knife for pros or home users alike. And it's got a little bit of forgiveness because of that conservative heat treat rating. The steel sharpens up nicely, takes a nice edge, and is quite easy to work with. The weight on the blade is about 6.1 ounces, or 173 grams. Edge length on this one is pretty close to 180, about 7 inches from tip to chin. And then the overall length was 11.7 on this particular knife. These are all pretty much identical in terms of dimensions. The spine thickness is about 2.2 millimeter coming out of the bolster, and then it pretty much holds that, and then does have a bit of a taper as it starts to taper off nicely to the grind. These have a good performing tip on them. The blade height is 47 millimeters on this one, and the handle is just a kind of no frills, stabilized black packawood with a good fit and finish on that, plus into the bolster. These do have a bit of an edge, sharp edges on the corners on the spine, and also the choil or the back of the blade. So if you're sensitive to that, you may want to take a little sandpaper strips and clean that up a little bit to kind of round it off and just take the edge off, but some of you may not bother you at all. The balance point on these is going to be a little bit further back because the blade's a little shorter, so it's pretty much right there, kind of where the bolster starts to thin out towards the handle. The knife itself is nicely ground, and you've got some embossed kanji logo on there. You can see kind of the grind of the knife convexing towards the edge. So you've got a machine finished blade here. They are ground reasonably thin at the edge, so these are pretty good performing knives. They're just a nice all-around combination for an easy, low-maintenance stainless Western or yo handled knife, and a good foray into Japanese steel. Out of the box edge really was pretty decent, 5 or 6 out of 10. It was pretty sharp, slightly uneven edge bevel. I went ahead and ground an edge on this one just to see what it felt like on the stones, and it really the steel does work pretty well on the stones. It's pretty easy to sharpen, and it does take a nice edge. So there's your look to the blade. One other nice thing about this knife is it's a little bit longer, so it's 180 millimeters, which gives you a little extra length over some Santoku knives, so kind of an in-betweener to, let's say, a 210 Gyuto. So here's what it looks like on the board. So if somebody's a little bit intimidated by an 8-inch knife and they want to use a good, just all-around good performing Santoku, low maintenance, this might be an excellent line to get into. So here's the edge profile, a little bit of a flat towards the back, kind of a gentle curve throughout, fairly flat overall profile, but not a lot of true flat areas, but a little bit towards the heel. And then it doesn't have a lot of belly towards the tip, so I'm not going to get real high on it. I'm kind of digging in about right there because the tip is rather low on the blade, as most Santoku knives are, with that kind of sheep's foot style point to them. But real nice flow to that edge. So just these represent a lot of value. The steel's good. The performance is quite good. They're ground nicely. Just a solid choice in kind of an entry-level Japanese knife. So here you have the Fujiwara FKM Santoku 180mm knife.